All right, welcome back, everybody, and thanks again for tuning in today to FedTalks. I'm FedScoop Editor-in-Chief Billy Mitchell, and next up, joining me for a fireside chat is Dave Levy, Vice President of U.S. Federal Government for Nonprofit and Healthcare at Amazon Web Services. Dave, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Really excited to be here.
I'm excited to talk to you about AI-driven solutions. Obviously, Amazon has a lot of knowledge in this space, a pretty storied past when it comes to AI and cloud. So I think it's going to be an apt discussion for this week at AI Week. Um, but let's start right there with the journey to AI. Obviously, like I said, Amazon has a bit of a past in this using AI in the marketplace, and obviously with Amazon Web Services supporting the cloud for the Amazon marketplace. So I'd love to discuss the lessons that you might be able to pass on to some of your government customers and those listening in the audience today for those looking to move into this direction.
Sure. While AWS, we enable AI solutions across tens of thousands of customers today. We have a long history with AI, which powers our Amazon.com business. And at AWS, we're focused, especially in my area, we're focused on putting the potential of AI and machine learning directly in the hands of public sector organizations. But at Amazon, we've been building learning capabilities for more than 20 years. And that all started when we rolled out our first recommendation engine. And we used that experience and this knowledge to develop machine learning and AI services that can be used by customers with any level of expertise. And so without machine learning, Amazon.com couldn't grow into new markets or customer segments or improve its customer experience and selection and optimize its logistics for speed and quality. So there are just unlimited best practices and lessons and use cases agencies can learn, even from our own journey at Amazon, when building, for example, personalized citizens experiences or accelerating and leveraging research, discovering new opportunities to innovate, and even automating back office functions can become less manual.
It's great to hear, and I know that during current times things have gotten difficult, especially for the federal government. During COVID-19, there's been a big response. So I'd love to hear how Amazon has kind of changed the way it's thought about serving that government customer base, and how you've been able to provide services during this critical time.
Sure. I mean, if anything, the pandemic has further emphasized the need to be digital and agile, which are operational pillars we encourage of all of our customers to embrace for innovation and efficiency. But now also for disaster response and preparedness, we're seeing a lot of our agency customers accelerate long-standing digital transformation and AI adoption plans and that have been in development for quite some time. Now, out of short-term necessity, they're doing it to deliver relief services and for long-term needs to predict and prepare for future crises with forecasting tools.
Very, very, very interesting. I know one of the major customers you have currently within the federal space is the military. I know that Amazon has been pushing in that direction for quite a while. So, what areas do you see as most important? You know, we're talking about AI today specifically, but I'm sure that it runs the gamut when you think about technology. But what areas do you see as the most important within the DoD when it comes to applying AI technologies, and how is Amazon supporting the mission and the warfighter?
You're right. AWS continues to proudly work with numerous organizations across DoD, and the mission is pretty clear. How do we help those responsible for protecting the safety and security of our world? And instead of focusing on specific areas, what we encourage decision makers to take a holistic approach to AI so that all members of the DoD are empowered to make better decisions and just move faster in the support of their mission. Um, this is our CEO. This is why our CEO, Andy Jassy, participates in the National Security Council on Artificial Intelligence and encourages and supports government executives to consider AI at every level of decision making, from making it easier to procure AI software to leveraging machine learning to inform strategic global strategies.
So what other mission sets across the government do you see being most impacted by AI? Obviously, we talked about the military, but I'm sure there's others like space. I know Amazon's big in space. And then, it's not always about the mission. There's things that are non-mission related. There's back-end services that also need that sort of support. So maybe let's start with the other large missions that maybe can be impacted by AI, and then some of those other things that aren't as mission related.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Billy. I mean, AI is often associated to large disruptive change and innovation, and it clearly can enable that, and it does enable that. We're helping agencies collect data at the edge and use AI to accelerate time to actionable insights, and warfighters to stay ahead of adversaries and increase things like shooter accuracy, particularly for targets beyond the line of sight. But what's often overlooked is AI's potential in maximizing operational efficiencies. As an example, many customers are using AWS AI services to build conversational agents to increase contact center efficiency, something that's been particularly important given the COVID-19 pandemic. And even something as mundane as document analysis can be greatly improved by AI technologies, which is helping a lot of organizations get information faster.
So when we have a conversation about AI, something I so often hear is that data is the key. It's the foundation and so important to all of this. So I'd like to go back to data and data management and ask you, what your thought is on the role that those things play in this AI equation.
Yeah, big keys. I mean, it used to be that those first two information were the ones with the competitive edge. Now it's not just about who has the information first, but who can make decisions the fastest. And AI has great potential here. But it's important for organizations to always keep in mind the importance of data hygiene. Your AI and ML applications are only as good as the data that's being fed into them. So data management is of utmost importance, and it should be part of any IT strategy considering organizational wide AI adoption.
And Dave, as we close out here today, uh, another part of this equation is the skills and the workforce needed to support AI. I know that Amazon is thinking a lot about this, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on why skills and training and the workforce is critical to supporting the development of AI.
Sure. Our goal at AWS is to put machine learning and artificial intelligence in the hands of every developer, and workforce development in this area is critical. Many of our government customers work closely with us to stay to the close to the latest emerging technologies, and we prioritize empowering them, not limiting them, but empowering them. In the spirit of this, we offer numerous learning tracks across job families like cloud architecture and software developer, many of which are dedicated to AI and ML.
Great, Dave. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been tremendous catching up as always, and I look forward to speaking with you in the future about everything Amazon's doing with
Yeah,
AI,
it
cloud, and
was
all of
great.
that.
Great. Thanks for having me today, Billy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks.